Welcome to the Women Seen and Heard podcast. Want to become a more confident presenter and conference speaker? Meet Anita Perez Ferguson and Lois Phillips, who are the co-authors of the Women Seen and Heard Speakers Journal, and they want to share what they've learned about women's speaking styles from their professional speaking careers. In each weekly podcast, they'll select and take turns responding to one prompt taken from the speaker's journal. In the closing moment, they offer a simple single tip you can put to use right away. Enjoy.
Men have conventionally been in top leadership roles, and we associate leadership with masculinity. That's why when an organizational leader is introduced, we expect the person speaking at the microphone to be a guy. Masculine traits include being dominating, goal-oriented, and competitive. Feminine traits include being more passive and receptive, more emotional, and more relational. Of course, these are generalizations, but how do stereotypes affect women's capacity for being a successful speaker?
Given that the role requires the speaker to dominate the room, public speaking is actually a role conflict for women who have been socialized to be modest, to wait to be spoken to, and to put other people's opinions before their own. If a woman internalized these feminine behaviors, public speaking would simply exacerbate the normal anxiety everyone has. But women who seek leadership roles simply have to push against outdated stereotypes they've internalized, particularly when they second-guess themselves and they worry about offending anyone with a hard-hitting position. I've found that my women clients often hold back. They don't want to appear bossy or competitive or self-serving, and they'll often soften how they express their strong positions so as not to alienate anyone. They don't give themselves adequate credit for their research and accomplishments. I think that's too bad because women need to be direct and unambiguous when they share exciting big ideas that could shape the future. Another reason why public speaking is more difficult for women than men is that there are often stereotypes in their listeners' minds, and these can sabotage women's efforts to be taken seriously. For example, people are wondering if the woman speaker is tough enough to lead, if she has a vision, or is she mired in the details, if she's too soft or relational, if she can stand up to competitors and close big deals. Those aren't concerns listeners have about men at the podium. We give men the benefit of the doubt. We assume men are cut out to be in top leadership roles. But unfortunately, women have to walk a fine line between being seen as too tough or masculine, or too soft or feminine. For example, candidate Hillary Clinton's defeat partially stemmed from her not being seen as likable enough. Using labels for a moment, we could say that masculine men don't have to worry about being liked. Intellectual, tough-minded, and masculine women do. While women speakers might be passionate about their topic, they simply can't be overly emotional. Women must be clear, direct, and have organized their content logically so they're not seen as, well, scatterbrained. Knowing all this, winging it is not an option. But here's some good news. Feminine socialization has led women to have a greater capacity than men do for empathy. This emotional intelligence helps women speakers connect with listeners. They can read nonverbal cues, and so they're more nimble at the podium. For example, if listeners seem antsy, women can make mid-course corrections in pacing, content, or delivery. In sum, women speakers are dynamic when they utilize the best of both feminine and masculine traits for a more blended style, one that is rich in content and heavy on connection. My tip is to know what you're talking about and to predict the tough questions. To be a commanding presence, relate your topic to your listeners in a way that inspires confidence in your competence. And remember that our podcast schedule is found at Women Seen and Heard on Facebook.